1051.
Bow 1051 is the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building who asked something that we don't usually get asked for.
Coffee.
He asked for coffee.
That's the least we can do for Steve Stoute.
I mean,
the commissioner.
Yo, hold on, time out. People don't ask for coffee.
No,
in the
they asked
morning?
for water, Belvedere, Ciroc, Moscato.
Well, you know what? Maybe that's why they're not multimillionaires.
Y'all getting too many artists up here. They asking for the rules.
Well, let's get the Stout. If you don't know, it's from Queens Village. It's from my area.
You're
I
Queens.
so
didn't want to say
proud.
that. I was waiting for that.
I was going to say that. I was going to bring that up. Don't worry
I was
about
going
it.
to try to drop it on you before you put it on
No,
me.
that's the
Whoa.
line. Hey, yo.
Woo,
He's
woo.
from Queens Village, of course. And if you don't know who Steve Stoute is, he's responsible for making Nas probably his first $1 million.
Absolutely.
Helped Nas's business when Nas's business was all effed up. Got Nas's first Bentley. Helped the Trackmasters do his thing. Had a host of other stuff.
Like Reebok, for instance, you talk about Reebok and working with them and how, you know, Nike obviously was way bigger than Reebok, and how do you break Reebok into the market without making them compete as far as like Nike's a performance sneaker?
Yeah, so let me take it on from there. So what happened was I was in the record business for years, and I was a manager. I was the president of Columbia Records, and then I went on to be the president of Interscope Records. And I left the business when I was around 29, 30. And I got into advertising, and I wanted to do something different and take a turn in my life. And I think that's the first thing about the book that I feel like it's practical to the reader, that you could actually find where I made that shift in my career and find the courage to make that next step in your own career and not be afraid to, find your passion, find something, no matter how good it looks on the other side. Because I was running record companies, and at that time, that was the best thing in the world to do. Everybody coveted that job that I had. And I went into, something less popular in advertising. And I think that I did a very good job of making the advertising business, at least from our perspective, the music, bridging the gap between music and advertising. I made it popular to be in advertising and talk about branding. When we did the Jay-Z and the G-Unit sneakers and all that, we were selling those sneakers like CDs. I mean, we really treated them like CDs. I mean, I put the sneaker inside of record stores in a glass box so you could pre-order it. And then I went and, sold them in Foot Lockers and everything. And, we did so well. No one thought Jay-Z could make a sneaker and sell sneakers. I mean, we sold 10,000 pairs in like an hour and a half.
Right, people were lined up, you said.
It didn't even make no sense. And then we hit the G units after that, and it was crazy. And it was all about, me at that time teaching Reebok that there was a kid, Envy is this kid, or was this kid, that would make sure that his sneaker matched his fitted to the T.
And he's still that kid.
The same way a guy would go in the mirror and try to match his brown shoe with his belt. Right. But to teach a company that you can actually market sneakers to people who don't want to run faster or jump higher. They just don't want their sneakers to be dirty. It was an honest consumer insight. Right? And it was an insight that led to the S. Carter and the G units and helped revive that brand and bring that brand back. And I think, for a while, RBK became a very, very hot brand, and actually Reebok sold as a result of the heat that was around that movement at the time.
Did you leave the music business because you saw that it was on the decline and something like branding was on the up?
That would be hot if I was that good, but no. What I knew was, I will tell you this much, I knew that they were letting people in the record business, and it was getting really random. The artists they were signing was random, and the executives that were coming on board was random. And I felt like in any business, once it starts getting that random, when people don't know the difference between who's really, really good and who's really not that good, that business will falter at some point.
Now, how did you get the corporate world so comfortable with your artists like this black guy from Brooklyn named Jay-Z wearing a do-rag? This dude from Queens that got shot 8-9 times. How did you get the corporate world comfortable enough where you can build that gap, build that bridge?
Envy, that was the hardest part. The hardest part was trying to translate the authentic nature of those two artists that you just mentioned, and trying to get a company to realize that in order to truly communicate what you want to do to the audience, to this young generation of kids who you want to buy your goods and services, you really have to find comfort in discomfort. Because if you don't find that spot, then you're going to end up doing the homogenized, the 2% milk version of the real thing,
right.
and it's not going to work. And we've seen many examples of bad ideas, or the fake version of something real. I was watching a TV spot the other day, and no disrespect, it was a Pitbull Dr. Pepper spot, and I was just like, people still don't get it. I mean, it don't make no sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he drinks a Dr. Pepper and everybody starts dancing. That's not a real situation.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't work that way. Maybe if you put some Ciroc in it,
maybe work like that just a little bit, right?
What's your thought process when it comes to placing certain artists with certain products?
It's always about shared values. One of the deal I did 2 years ago, which I'm proud of doing, was Lady Gaga and Mac. I mean, it makes sense,
right?
Right? It just works.
Glam,
yeah,
Lady
Viva
Gaga.
Glam, perfect, makes sense. There's certain relationships where you can't even navigate out of it. Like, it feels perfect from the time it enters your mind. And it's all about shared values, right? So an artist has a core competency, something about the artist that we truly believe in, whether they're a fashionista or they're a technology kind of person or whatever their thing is outside of being a great artist.
I think it's always a shame when artists support a brand and the brand doesn't support them back. And that also
that's
happens
horrible.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
LL Cool J, you told about that. He was wearing Kangos. And
yeah, the Kangos turned him down. See, very early on, Adidas did it very early with Run DMC, which I'm proud of, because I use that example as sort of the tipping point or the shift on when things started to get better, or they were believers that this culture, because it's beyond the music, right? The music came and it's changed, but the culture came and stuck. The culture is the thing. It's the language, the baggy pants, the hats, how you rock your cars. It's the rims. It's the swag. It's everything that the culture of that hip hop brought is what the book focuses on. And that culture being acknowledged early by Adidas with Run DMC was something that was very important. One of the good stories I have in the book is when FUBU was launched. I remember when I was shooting LL Cool J videos at the time, and this guy would come around with yellow pants and all that kind of FB on it, and it was Damon John. He was doing the seating, and LL was part of the company. And when LL got really big, and they asked him to do this Gap ad,